How's it going, everybody? So from reading the title of this video, this is going to be talking about the women's skateboarding, as it is still getting a little bit of backlash and hate, especially if you watch the newest Women's Battle of the Barracks information announcements and just trying to put out the female skateboarders that the Barracks were interested in having as part of their first ever all-female lineup of flat ground skating. So a lot of people were giving the women in it a lot of hate and criticism. So this is going to be more on, it's influenced by that, but this is just as an overall whole. You're just begging the question, why do people hate on women's skateboarding so much? So, I mean, women's skateboarding is just at the beginning of its, at the stages. Because, I mean, we've had women skateboarders before. Right now, female skateboarding is at, I would say, arguably at its beginning, because we've had before a few examples here and there of a woman skateboarding and being on a team with a bunch of guys, but as in just the last maybe 5 years, we've had just this increase in female skateboarding and women taking to all different platforms of social media to showcase that just because they were not before showing their talent and their ability to skate as much, that now they've been skateboarding this whole time and they're only going to get better and better and better. So it's right now, I kind of see women's skateboarding in a way kind of like the guys 90s to 2000s era was, where people are not, I don't know why they would expect women to be instantly jumping down like 12s, 16s and doing like these massive handrails. There are a few examples of some of them doing that, but the main thing is back in the 2000s, even the 90s for guys, it was more about style. I mean, they had a couple of examples where their technical abilities were absolutely insane. They were able to skate everything. There were a lot of style into the tricks. It wasn't super crazy flip in, flip out, and it wasn't as big as it is now. I mean, you compare skateboarding back then to how it is now, and if you were to take someone from that era and take them to how people skate today that are on flow, it would blow their minds. It's not something that you can even just compare and say, well, you need to be at this level. Women's skateboarding is a much like how it was back then for the guys. It's going to slowly progress into what people are hoping and expecting that they would do today, but it's going to take time for women to get there. And that's the best thing, is right now you're seeing the beginning, or again, what I would argue as more of the beginning of women's skateboarding really taking off and being able to go alongside the guys to where eventually it's going to blend in to where you're not going to even say, oh, well, she's good for a girl. She's actually good. She's dope. We need to get her on the team. We need to get her in this contest. We need to, see what she's up to. And conversation will get better when you eliminate the for a girl aspect. And it's, for a lot of people, going to take time to get there. And only time just to be able to show that they will get to that point. Eventually, there will be a few standouts here and there that will, shine in the same way that a lot of the guys that they have the standouts for all different aspects of skateboarding. But in the long run, this is the time for them to just really enjoy. I mean, anytime it is, but this is more just the moment for their beginning, and just to see just how far they will go in such a short period of time, and how far they've already come in such a short period of time. So, but I mean, the increase in, the presence of female skateboarding contests, of being able to, showcase talent. Like, for example, Street League was a great platform for women to be able to show that, they can draw in the audience. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, Street League is still a business, but they gave women a chance to be able to have a few stops in the last couple years, and to eventually have their own women's Super Crown. And it showed that they can draw in the audience, that they are popular. And what's awesome is, being at the event itself, all those fans got to see each other. They got to see, wow, you are a fan of this too. And to see the numbers growing each contest, to be able to support something that is more so a movement. And that's only just going to get better and better with time. With the increase of, platforms like, for example, Metrogrammed on Instagram. They had, for every Wednesdays, it was Women Crushing Wednesdays. And, you know, the Barracks, they had, you know, Women's Night. They showcased here and there, you know, just highlighting women's skateboarding in general. So now they really are pushing the envelope for, you know, female skateboarding as not only of movement, but just as part of skateboarding, because it shouldn't, eventually it's not going to be women's skateboarding and men's skateboarding, it's going to be skateboarding. But for now, it is unfortunately divided. In some areas it's great, in some areas it will eventually be mended, and that's where I believe skateboarding is going to end up being eventually. I mean, the talent is undeniable. You look at the standouts of, you know, the women that, you know, they're still very young. They've been skateboarding for a very, very long time, and they've been a part of the contest circuit. You know, I'm just to name a few. I mean, obviously, you look at Leticia Bufani, who it was, you know, a major role in pushing women's skateboarding for the masses, for the general public, not just the underground skateboarding, but just as for what people would see skateboarding as. Then you have Lacey Baker, who was a very good competitor and great competition for Leticia as well. And then you have Marissa Teles Santos, who for street skateboarding, you know, people after State Gold were wondering, you know, what happened to her, because she was in, you know, the Zero Strange World video, and everyone loved her skateboarding because she was able to keep up with the guys, and she had her own style, and she just didn't care. She was amazing. And then you had Alyssa Steamer, who arguably is one of the more original female skateboarders for the general audience, for, you know, the mainstream of skateboarding, who really showed that. I mean, even when I was growing up, I saw her skateboarding, and, you know, I would see, you know, little ads here and there. I would, you know, play the Tony Hawk games, and I wouldn't even consider, like, oh, she's good for girls. Like, oh, dude, she's dope. She's awesome. I'm stoked to, you know, see what comes of her in the next couple years. And so that right there is, you know, talent is undeniable. It's always been there, but now that, because it's being more accepted, women have that platform to be able to showcase their talent. And I think that's what's going to really help to push the agenda as well. I'm excited for Women's Battle of the Barracks because it's going to showcase a side of skateboarding that women really haven't had much of a platform for, because obviously there's been the contest circuits that women have been able to be a part of, but there's never really been any flat ground competitions for women. And especially going throughout the years, you had the S Game Skate, then you had Battle of the Barracks, and you've had a lot of different spin-offs of that, you know, throughout the world. But now there's actually going to be a contest that solely just focuses on the women. And so that right there is going to be a great push for women to show that it's not just, as the criticism in the comments for a lot of their videos say, it's not just a bunch of shove-its, it's not just a kickflip, it's not 30 minutes to do, you know, a difficult trick. A lot of the women that are in it, granted that there's a lot of other ones that were not able to be a part of it for scheduling reasons, injuries, things of that matter. A lot of the women that are in it are very good skateboarders, and they have the ability to keep up on flat. You know, granted, thinking about how women's skateboarding is, again, they're at the early stages of where they will eventually become. It's not going to be something that you expect them overnight to just instantly start keeping up with all the guys in the way that people are expecting them to. They have to be able to progress from A all the way to Z. My only gripe about the Women's Battle of the Barracks for the announcements and stuff is, for a lot of the videos, it would be great to just see them skate just flat. There's a lot of hip skating, there was a lot of skating on banks, and it just, for me, it's a flat ground contest, just show flat, and, you know, that right there would be a good representation for what they're able to do. Granted, there was a lot of great flat ground in it. There was just a lot of, you know, going upstairs, downstairs, and, you know, skating gaps. So it's like, I want to see just flat, because some people can skate stuff down things or on banks that they just can't do on flat, because it's able to give them that little extra edge to be able to complete their trick or to just be comfortable doing their trick. As the talent and the popularity of women's skateboarding increases, the business side of everything is going to increase for them as well, and it's going to give them a lot better opportunities and a lot bigger opportunities to expand, not only as women's skateboarding, but to be able to push the boundaries for their own personal brand of who they are and what they represent. And it's also going to really blend the lines between men and women skateboarding. It's not going to be, again, like I said earlier, it's not going to be they're good for a girl. They're just good. So, I mean, it's only just going to get better. And I'm still, in a way, not really understanding where the criticism is really coming from. It's ridiculous to hate on something that is supposed to be pushing the boundaries and also just pushing skateboarding as a whole. You know, granted, you go to street spots and, you know, the women are just starting, just like how before, maybe taking the example of Jeff Rowley in his classic covers where he talks about no one had ever skated the 16 and he went and front-boarded it and got a cover. So it was, you know, filmed and shot by Daniel Howard Sturt. But nowadays, you look at it for guys, they don't even warm up with really a front board. They don't put that in a video part. They don't do really anything with it. It's more just, oh, you front boarded it? All right, that's just a build up to the inevitable trick that they want to do. You know, and for women skateboarding, they're kind of at the point where Rowley was when he was getting the cover. And it's, you know, it's very monumental, it's very exciting, and it's a huge milestone and an accomplishment. And that's what needs to be focused on, is the accomplishments and the, you know, milestones of today are going to be tomorrow's expectations. And that's how progress works. And that's why I think people need to just give the women a lot more credit and to just give them the time that they need to do what they want to do with their skateboarding. Again, it's not always just going to be focused about doing the biggest stair sets, gaps, and to skate the longest rails or whatever. It's just let them push the skateboarding in the way that they want to. There's going to be standouts for every aspect, for ledges, for rails, for manual pads, transition, flat ground, what have you. But let them push skateboarding into the direction that they want to have it in and just watch it grow alongside and then eventually into with the men's skateboarding to just watch skateboarding be able to grow as a whole. That's just what I wanted to cover today, just a little discussion on what I felt with the people criticizing women's skateboarding as a whole, and just again with tomorrow, the first women's Battle of the Barracks game starting, and just being excited to see what is to come of that. But go ahead and leave your comments down below. I'm very, very excited to see what you guys actually say about this, because I know that there's a lot of people that do support women's skateboarding, and there's some people that maybe are giving criticism to it. I just want to know what you guys think. Please go ahead and leave those comments down below. If you like the video and want to see more, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And also, if you liked this video in particular, please go ahead and give it a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.